What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video, and this one we have the UK versus USA culture explained. Now, I feel like the culture in the UK and the USA is similar, but also very different. But I can't put it into words, so I'm gonna let him explain the similarities and differences, because I don't know what he's gonna say, but I'm sure it's gonna be a lot better than what I could. However, before we dive in, if you happen to enjoy this, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Let's dive right in.
Britain and America are like twins separated from birth. One was raised in fine aristocracy, and the other was abandoned at a gas station and told, good luck. These two great nations have dominated the world both economically, militarily, and culturally.
Everyone in Britain got in a big old boat, and we set sail, and we robbed, and this will sound far-fetched, everyone in the world.
That's having spawned from the
We set sail, and this will sound far-fetched. We robbed everyone in the world.
same origins. They went off in their own two directions, becoming both very similar and very different.
Yo, we all are great.
Yeah.
We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great.
I've started to get this feeling that I'm totally fucked. You know? Everything's fucked.
Today, we will analyze American versus British culture.
Let's do that.
The American comic hero is a wisecracker who is above his material and who is above the idiots around him. You know that scene in Animal House where there's a fellow playing folk music on a guitar? John Belushi picks up the guitar and destroys it. And the cinema will laugh because he just smashes it and then waggles his eyebrows at the camera. And everyone says, God, he's so great. Well, a British comedian would want to play the folk singer.
Comedy is a great way of revealing a culture's ideas. So American comedy and British comedy, they're very different. American comedies always tend to be built around the idea of like optimism and positivity.
Be curious, not judgmental. I like that.
Such a great freaking show. Such a great freaking show.
There's typically always the notion that things can get better. You can see this in the character Leslie Knope in Parks and Recs.
I can do it. I can crush him. I promise.
And typically, in an American comedy, the cool guy is the main character.
So you know how to take the reservation, you just don't know how to hold.
Now, let's compare that to British comedies. Typically, the idea in a British comedy is that life will always disappoint you.
We need to have a talk.
This is true.
With me.
We weren't ever really.
Oh,
I see you not around, but here.
see you.
Hey, I freaking love that show too. So I feel like I love both comedies and the differences within both. But he's completely right. They are different kind of comedy. But I absolutely appreciate both of them for what they are.
Secondly, you'll never make it in life. All your dreams and hopes and optimism is ultimately futile.
I have this dream. You and I own this skyscraper office block on the South Bank. And above us, on top of the skyscraper, in 50-foot-high neon lettering, are the initials.
Oh my God.
Trotters, independent traders.
Just above your heading is the word tip.
Another idea that is shown is that you
I just want to say, like, literally, Only Fools and Horses is absolutely legendary. It probably is my favorite show out of like UK comedy sitcoms, or however you want to put what category you want to put it in. Man, I love that show from beginning to end. It's incredible.
you can always expect the worst thing to happen.
So, yeah. Right, thank you very much. Do you like it? Oh, so I put that on you. Brilliant. Do you want another beer? Was that my beer? Yeah.
What? Do you want me to get you?
Yes.
And finally, the main character, the point of focus in a British comedy will typically be some awkward loser.
I like your glasses.
I'm afraid they're not for sale. Laugh all you want, they're not for sale.
So this leads us to our first key cultural difference. And that is American idealism versus British realism.
That's a good
Instead of me telling you this, I'm going to
comparison.
show you it through expressions. Americans will say things like this. Well, you know what they say. the sky's the limits. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Whereas in Britain, we'll say things like, hope for the best, but expect the worst, mate. We literally have a thing called sod's law. What can go wrong will go wrong. And then let's say you have a situation where something is looking good. You've got an opportunity. Americans will say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Whereas we'll literally say, well, old boy, don't count your chickens before they hatch. And then finally, if you're in America and your whole life is going terribly, it's looking awful, Americans say, well, it's always darkest before dawn. In England, if everything's going well, we'll say, yeah, mate, but this is just the calm before the storm. So you might be wondering, why? Why do we have these very distinct attitude differences?
Yes, I am now wondering.
Before we go any further with this video, cold turkey might be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're talking about today's video sponsor.
I'm gonna skip the sponsor, man. I am absolutely loving this. I completely agree with the man. Like, that idealism that he's talking about, that is me to an absolute T. Like, I will literally always look at how great things can turn out. Like, even if I'm taking a risk, I'm like, bro, like, yeah, this is a risk. But if all works out like planned, we could be shooting for the stars. I'm not thinking about, like, yeah, it's a risk. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to be effed. I'm like, no. I want that shot at glory. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's so freaking real. It takes money to make money. Bro, you just always looking at how great things could play out. And that realism is looking at things are gonna, he said, yeah, hope for the best, expect the worst. That's not me. That's not me. I would say more of a hope for the best, but prepared for the worst. You know what I'm saying? But I don't expect the worst to happen. I don't expect everything to go wrong. I expect everything to go right. And when things go wrong, I'm just like, okay, we just got to get through this little storm. Like, just got to get through this little slow section. Just got to get around this trial or this tribulation, around this roadblock. We just got to figure out a way. But we're going to get back to greener pastures. We're going to get back to the bright side. That idealism is such a real thing.
QR code and use the code Jimmy the Giant to get...
Now stand aside, worthy adversary. 'Tis but a scratch.
A lot of the British attitude can really be pointed to our very long and brutal history. We've had tons of wars and plagues and religious upheavals. All of these things have kind of led to British people sort of having doubt and distrust into the future. Like, yeah, it might be going well now, but tomorrow a swarm of Belgians might come over and behead us. Understanding our history gives us this cautiousness to being too optimistic about the future. As well, you have to combine the religious attitudes of the Church of England. The Church of England was very much a believer in the idea of original sin. The idea that humans have fallen from God, we're all inherently bad, although we do have the ability to be somewhat redeemed. This has engineered a sort of attitude of cautious optimism. We're not entirely 100% pessimists. All of this combined with the fact that our weather is pretty shit.
Rain, rain, rain. Us Brits endure it on 199 days of every year.
Now, for it to rain more than not rain is absolutely crazy. And that would bring my attitude down a bit, I think. I can understand.
Literally have a week of sunshine in England and think, you know what, this Saturday, let's go for a picnic with the family. And then because your dad showed some optimism in the weather, God will smite you with a torrential downpour for the next month. This general attitude can be completely contrasted with American optimism. And that stems from, ultimately, if you're the type of person to leave Britain, a established nation that has infrastructure, etc., hop on a boat, travel for weeks, months across uncharted waters to arrive on uncharted lands, to do that, you need at least an ounce of optimism.
That's true. True.
Look, water, lands in the distance, see? Mate, you've been saying that for the last 3 fucking icebergs. Oh, look, yeah, look, can you see it? Another fucking iceberg. I'm tired of this. And then, so after discovering this new land, which was a crazy thing to go and do, America then went through two great awakenings. I don't know what happened in the first one, if they just hit snooze or something, but the first great awakening was in 1730 to 1740, and then the second one in 1795 all the way up to 1835. So what happened in this was that the religious attitudes of America had evolved. New ideas around like self-improvement, the idea that everyone has the ability to shape their own destiny and their own future. Humans can be better, they can improve society, they can make and create things that make the world better.
Everybody, I know you can believe in yourself.
They had strong convictions around the importance of working hard, as well as very pragmatic attitudes, the idea that things should be done well and efficiently. These last two led to a very strong cultural focus on capitalism and efficiency in business, which all of this manifested itself in the idea of the American dream.
Facts.
The American dream is just the ability to achieve. Anybody can do it, but you're not just gonna get it because you want it. You gotta be willing to work hard. You gotta apply a lot of hard work. You gotta apply faith. You gotta apply persistence. You've gotta never ever give up.
So basically, the idea of the American dream is that any old piece of shit, old Bob who still lives at home with his parents, 40 years old, anyone can go and do anything they want to in life.
That Americans are told they can become the next president of the United States. And they can. British people are told it won't happen to you. And they carry that. They carry that with them.
I know what's probably going through your head. You might hear that and think, fucking hell, why are Britain so pessimistic? I mean, we literally had the biggest empire on earth. Why are we so deflated? And
the history of the world, right or wrong? Biggest empire in the history of the world. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're just taught that your entire life. That's like put into you can be whatever you want to be. Like you can accomplish the American dream, even though most people, I mean, statistically, it's just not gonna happen. Everybody still has that, I guess, belief in themselves that they can be, or that they can have the American dream, that they can accomplish if they just put their heads down and work hard enough and figure it out, that they can accomplish. And so with that self-belief and that determination, you're motivated to just continue pushing and pushing and pushing. And maybe that's the way America wants it. They want you to believe that, so that one of you out of a million may crack that American dream open, but the rest of you are helping push the country forward by slaving away. But you're never truly going to reach that dream. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's there. Although statistically, it's going to be very, 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 very rare to get it. It's not going to stop you from the pursuit.
But that leads us to a very core cultural difference between England and America, and that is class structure.
I was brought up in a poor family, you know. Really, we had nothing, really. If I could get in a position that some of them people in, I would like to be in it. These lords or ladies or peers, or you're talking about them class of people.
The Curzon's family started with William the Conqueror.
In Britain, the idea of class and where you stand socially has been a very core part of our identity. Until very recently, as a Brit, your whole life was decided before you were born. These differences between the upper class and the working class has existed through most of British history. There's like this idea that the upper class are pure blood. They were like chosen by God. They had divine rights. They literally referred to themselves as blue-blooded. And they were much better than the grunts working the coal mines to power their beautiful machinery. And so there's always been this attitude in England of like judgment between the classes. The upper class and the working class hate each other. And class is interesting because it's not just defined by wealth.
We give dinner parties 2 or 3 times a week. This enables us to keep in touch with our wide circle of friends.
We give a wine and cheese do once a month. This enables us to do it on the cheap.
Her mother comes round Saturday nights and drinks my Guinness. This enables her to get drunk for nothing.
Class is much deeper than simply wealth. It's the accent you talk in, the way you behave, the schools that you're educated in. If you're from Cambridge School of Witchcraft and Wizardry versus the community college in Shitham, literally everything you did would be defined by class.
I think working class people in general feel this kind of thing weighing down upon them, and I can't put it into words of what it is, but I think people watching this will understand that you feel it pushing you down all the time.
And so there's this understanding that there isn't much class mobility. If you are lower class, even if you got wealthy, you could never be upper class. There's no way. And so this kind of demoralization spawned a attitude in British people that things can't really get that much better. I'm always going to be judged from basically the background that I'm from. In America, as I explained with the American Dream, the attitude is that anyone can be anything.
Exactly.
Americans love the idea of the rags to riches story, the underdog archetype that you see in films like Pursuit of Happiness or The Founder. Class does exist in America, but it is very different. You're probably going to see more things between North and South divides and racial divides. But I do, as a British person, quickly want to make a caveat. The British people have never had like outright defeatism. British people will try in life. They'll try very hard, but we just don't like to get our hopes up. We are optimistic, but just in a very cautious way. Like, Americans might aspire to be a millionaire CEO of a big tech startup, whilst British people will aspire to one day shop at Waitrose.
My wife likes to shop at Waitrose. It's the middle class option. People who shop at Waitrose, they like to drop it into conversations. Sorry I'm late, I was just at Waitrose, just so everybody knows.
So the explanation on the class system leads us to another point, which is politeness and expressiveness. Here's your food, good sir. What the fuck is that? Everything okay with the food? Oh yes, lovely, thank you. I would say British people are kind of overly aware of being rude and impolite, which has some benefits. You know, we treat people really well. We hate to be awkward and we like people to feel relaxed. But it can cause British people to take way too much shit and not stand up for themselves.
I slap you and you want me to hit you on the other cheek?
Americans will...
I got to get back to some Key and Peele skits, bro. Key and Peele absolutely tripped me out.
Tolerate less bullshit, which is a good thing, but then sometimes they can be a bit rude and a bit overly confrontational. I have waited exactly 5 minutes. It is a Big Mac. How long do you need? This difference when it comes to being polite probably stems from the British Reserve and American individualism. British people are very reserved. Typically, in public, we all sit like this, and we're all very quiet, and we don't laugh too loud, and we try and be really polite. And this can stem from the Victorian era. There was very strict social rules over behaviour, dress, the way you express yourself. It was very stern and rigid. The reason we tolerate so much shit is because we have the religious idea of turning the other cheek. As well, our probably over-awareness of people's personal space and being rude can probably stem from the fact that we live on a small island very closely together. We don't have a lot of space and we're all on top of each other. So we have a strong respect for people's personal space.
I feel that. Okay.
And then, like, some of it is the fact that the upper class social attitudes probably trickled down to the working class, where it's always seen as being a lower class thing to speak loudly and have bad manners and be overly confrontational.
Can you come back in, please?
Oh my God, this is well harassment. I'm going to take this to the Court of European Rights.
And so, British people have the attitude of a stiff upper lip, don't show emotion, and don't complain about your problems.
Well, that was fucking scary.
Whereas America...
Well, that was epic scary. I feel like me, in general, that's kind of how I am. Operate in not confrontational. I do worry about being, like, overly rude. Or I try my best. I'm, like, a people pleaser in my core. And it's good sometimes, but there's also a lot of times where I don't like it, where you take too much crap, and you know what I'm saying? And so sometimes I can't stand that about myself. But I know I am aware of that. And then, I guess in situations where it's like, I guess everything, life is just killing you and it's beating you up. And it's just like, I got to keep going. Like, I got to keep put one foot in front of the other. I ain't got time to really complain about the circumstances I'm in. Because sitting here complaining ain't going to help anything. So I got to try to change those circumstances. But yeah, in the sense of I'm not gonna complain. Give me the wrong food order, I'll just be like, take off what I told you to take off. Like if I said no onions, you put onions on it. Take the onions off myself. That's me. Americans in general, yes, we will complain. We will. We can be rude. Yeah, he's not wrong.
That is not the case.
All right, what country are we in? In the United States. You're goddamn right.
You can't take a picture here.
Okay, First Amendment. Get back over there.
I have a right to speak.
I have a right to speak.
This is
Crazy.
my right as much as it is yours. This is my land as much as it is yours.
To Americans, I am important. I am the center of the universe. After
Yes.
the Great Awakening, there was a strong
Yes.
focus on individualism. Emotionality and expression is a good thing. Being outgoing and extroverted is a very American thing. British people are very introverted. Americans, after things like the Bill of Rights, have a strong focus on their personal rights and freedoms and liberty. In America, all men are created equal, and so they don't have this idea that you're better than me or I'm better than you by birthright.
Yeah.
We're all humans, we all exist, and we all deserve respect. And so this leads to politics and the attitude toward authority.
This is an illegal detention at this point. You better get your shit straight. Oh, I will file a complaint. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, right as soon as we leave here.
Am I not human to you, huh?
Americans are inherently very skeptical of authority. They believe more so in small government and self-autonomy due to the British ruling America and, you know, being a bit naughty, a bit rough around the edges. As well, Americans are very rebellious. The formation of America was around escaping the Church of England. In Britain, on the other hand, it is different. We do have a trust in our government. It is waning currently, but typically we trust in social order and we don't really make too much of a big deal about infringement of our rights. And that's probably because of years of unquestioned power by monarchs. And again, the stoicism and the idea of stiff upper lip, not complaining too much, not making a big deal. It kind of has led to this polite submissive behaviour, which sometimes is a bit embarrassing.
Careful, sir, it's hot. Oh, sorry. Might burn yourself. Yeah, sorry. Would you like some salt and pepper? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Like, you can kind of picture the movie scene of a British person, an American person dealing with authority. Excuse me, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Listen here, tough guy. You don't talk to me like that.
My hero.
Excuse me, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, that's fine. We'll leave, for sure.
But darling, your dad owns a restaurant.
I don't want to be rude. And so with all this, you can extrapolate these attitudes and understand...
That's so great. I'm so much like the second one. I'm in terms of attitude and everything. Now, I'm very optimistic in the first comparison. I'm very optimistic compared to realist. I can't be realistic, but more so optimistic, more so idealism. I fall on that one. But on the second one, when it comes to attitude, I more fall on the British side of things.
Different attitudes towards certain issues, you know, for instance, guns. Americans see guns as like a right to protect themselves from the government and other people. America's fast food and subsequent obesity problem has stemmed from the ideas of efficiency in business, not wanting to waste time on food, taking too long to cook. And then you have things like healthcare and welfare. Like in Britain, we have a pretty strong healthcare system. Yeah. Let's not get into that. Whereas Americans are far more reserved on bringing anything into public domain, especially healthcare. Britain has an obsession with tradition and upholding tradition, whereas America have a strong focus on new and innovation, new products, technology.
By making the screen taller but not wider, you can see more of your content without the need to scroll. We're making scrolling a thing of the past.
And so look, I've picked apart British people and American people. I've made jokes, I've pointed out some bad things, but I want to say, and I think this is true, Americans and British people have a very deep mutual respect for each other. I think very much these days, ever since the war, we've had what has been dubbed a special relationship. I don't know if that's a gay thing or something, but whatever. As a Brit, I can say honestly, I really do love Americans. I love being around Americans. I really admire their confidence. They're so easy to talk to. They're very warm, open demeanors. British people can be very reserved at times.
Excuse me, young man, is anyone sitting here? No. Would you mind if we sat here? No, it's fine. I'm Ronald. This is Pammy. Actually, you forgot to tell us your name. Peter. Peter!
It can be pretty depressing talking with British people about the future and your ambitions. Whereas Americans are all patting you on the back saying, yeah, you can do it, bro. And I think Americans do appreciate British people as well. They probably appreciate our realism. We don't really bullshit ourselves. We're very honest. We know our strengths, but we also know our flaws. Often Americans see us as well-spoken and intelligent. And you can actually see our comedy has massively influenced modern American comedy. There's a lot more awkward, dry humor in American television now than there ever was in the past. And obviously, Americans fucking love our traditions, arguably more than us. That leads me to a final thought, and that is about cultural homogenization. With the internet, culture across the world has sort of melted together. We're all seeing the same media constantly. I will listen to endless American podcasters telling me to go after my dreams and fix my life or something. The idea that the internet is bringing lots of different value systems together and you can kind of choose which one suits you, as opposed just the one that dominates your country. But I do wonder, are we going to see less of these interesting differences, and are we just going to become a sort of best of greatest album kind of thing? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more on this topic, check out the Afters podcast where we talk more about this. Like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.
That was such a good video, and I absolutely loved every bit of that. I feel like his comparison between the UK and USA culture is absolutely spot on. I guess I can't really speak for UK culture. I've seen lots of videos, but I've never truly been to UK. So if y'all want to talk about the UK culture in the comment section, I can get to learn more about UK culture. Was he spot on? Is he like, I don't know about that? I don't think that's us. For the US culture, I feel like he's definitely got us. He got us down. He's definitely got us down. Of course, there's going to be all different kinds of people in each country. There's going to be introverts, extroverts, troublemakers, law-abiding citizens. There's going to be it's a melting pot of all different kinds of people, all different kinds of cultures. But I feel like in general, as a whole, he's really got it down pat. That was a very good video. You guys, just let me know what y'all think. That's all we have for this one. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the next one. See you guys there.